Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's having a nice Friday evening. I certainly am. So let's get things turned on. And there we are. Cool. Great. So yeah, hope everyone's having a lovely Friday evening. It's a good week. So we're gonna have a look at some AI stuff tonight. So we're gonna keep looking at the AI bot that we were building. Have been working on for the last couple of streams on the AI streams. And tonight we're going to have a look at something that Microsoft's calling Semantic Kernel. So this is a lightweight SDK to let us mix conventional programming languages with LLM AI prompts. Using templating, chaining, things like that. So a lot of stuff we haven't really looked at yet with our AI stuff. We've been pretty simplistic with our approach, but thought it might be worth a bit of a look, see if this is something we can plug in to our bot, or if maybe there's something we build a standalone app for and then have our Twitch bot communicate with that standalone app could also be a part of it. So yeah, we'll just see how we go. But first things first, I've only had a very brief skim of this. I haven't done a full deep dive yet. So will be joining me as we do a deep dive. Oh, thank you for the follow. Thank you, John. Yeah, that's going to be really exciting looking at what this is, how we can use it, what we think it can be used for, whether or not it's appropriate for using in a conversational bot. These are all things we will find out tonight. Alrighty, so let's have a look. So what have we got here? So it's a kit of paths that interlock. Okay, so we've got an ask, which so that's, I guess, the user goal that's sent through. The kernel, which orchestrates the ask, so I guess that's a component there that's taking in what the user's asking and trying to work out what it's doing, and so pull it apart a bit. And then there's the planner, so break that kind of orchestrated part into steps, I guess. And then the resources. So we've got skills, memories, and connectors. So I don't quite know what skills are going to be. I guess that's maybe different activities. Memories is going to be, I'm assuming, kind of information that we've collected along the way. So kind of context that we've given it, databases, information there. Connectors. So yeah, I'm not sure what the difference between connectors and skills is going to be, but we will learn that as we go. And then obviously connectors are going to connect out to other integrations, maybe some kind of searching, some kind of other API systems, things like that. And then steps. So this is going to give, so steps is a series of steps. So a plan is a series of steps for the kernel to execute. So we're building this all. So we're creating a plan of things to do for the kernel, and then the kernel will be used with the pipeline to generate the response, which we get. So use a get to pull the response from the pipeline. Okay, all right, fair enough. Well, let's get started. Let's have a look here. So the first thing we'll need to do is pull it from the not sure what that command is, but so pull it from NuGet. Alright, cool. Well, let's, where are we? Yeah. So we're still in our refactored version of the code. That's okay. Because we were doing a bunch of stuff with that, but we'll work from this. Gee, what I'm going to do is we had a bunch of stuff we were looking at with audio to text. I'm actually going to remove that. So what we'll do, so check out the backdoor out audio. I'm just going to make a new branch here based off this branch. We're going to remove the kind of audio to text stuff for now on this different branch, and then we'll merge this branch into main. So we don't need that. We'll leave the Redis cache as it is. That's still going to be useful. Alright, what's complaining? Doesn't have that. That's fine. And then we don't have the audio to text. That's fine too. Is there anything else that was using audio to text? I don't think so. That's okay. So this AI chat component here is mostly what we'll be ending up replacing with the semantic kernel. Cool. So removing audio component. So I set the upstream origin. Refactor out. So push that up to GitHub, and then what we're going to do is we're going to bounce over to GitHub, and go to our repo here, and we're going to pull this into the main, and we can merge that. So here's our the components. Alright. Okay, investigating. Cool. So we'll make that PR. Let's just check and make sure that's all good. So, don't think this was in last time. But maybe it's warning us there's no continuous integration, which is fine. Alright, cool. So that's all good. We've merged that in, deleted that branch. So let's go over here and we'll check main, and we'll pull down main. Okay, cool. Now we're in a good state here to start looking into Semantic Kernel. So let's package is called Microsoft.Semantic Kernel. Cool, so we should just be able to do a .NET add package Semantic Kernel. No, didn't. No, we have to do the pre-release because it is not fully released yet. That's okay. So we do the pre-release command there so that we can pull everything down, which is good. Alrighty. Cool. Alright, so that should be installed then. Now this is how to run the notebook. We're not really interested in running a notebook sample. Run semantic apps. I want to. I think this is more of a zoom in on what LLM or large language models are. Not quite what we're after tonight, but that's good resource if anyone wants to kind of come in and read about what LLMs are. So, alright, so let's look into this a bit too. So, discover semantic kernel. So, let's learn about what the kernel itself is. So the kernel comes in here, so we create a kernel. So the term kernel can be meaning different meanings in different contexts. But in the case of semantic kernel, the kernel refers to an instance of the processing engine that processes the ask. Okay, cool. So let's go back here. Let's make a new branch. Semantic. Call it semantic kernel. And we'll set the upstream. Oh, cool. Alright, so let's have a look. See here. We're going to try to squish all this into one screen. Alrighty. So fitting that in, I might increase the text on here a little bit. There we go. It's maybe a bit easier to read. Increase it on this one as well. So hopefully that's alright to read. If anyone's watching and having difficulty reading, just feel free to reach out and say that the text is a bit small, and I will increase the text font. Alright, so we'll need to build a kernel. So what I'm going to do is come in here and add this to... I don't want to do it in here because I'm going to leave this alone. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to call it so call it AI interface. No, that looks a bit weird calling it that. It's still a little small. That's alright. Let me hump the text up one more. Hopefully that should be nice and readable. So what do we want to call this that we're interacting? So, alrighty, cool. So what we're going to do here is AI chat interface. Chat interface. There we go. So I will start. So we'll do a public chat interface. face class, if I tell what it is. That's fine. So now we're going to most likely need to use what am I doing? So using, and we want to use Microsoft Semantic Kernel. Alrighty. No, I don't want a private read only of Twitch. That's not going to help me. Let's do a private read only kernel. Kernel, that's fine. And let's use our new kernel to follow the thing. So it's kernel dot build. Now this is mostly telling me that this should be something else. Cannot convert iKernel to kernel, so the interface of a kernel. There we go. So, AWS doesn't actually have this tool available at the moment. AWS are working on a tool, I believe it's called Bedrock, that's its large language model. So at the moment, if you're working on AWS and you're doing AI stuff, you'll need to be using the OpenAI APIs, or even reaching to the Azure one. But for the moment, using these large language models, it's kind of not something that AWS or GCP I think has. Well, GCP has access to Bard, which I haven't heard good things about yet. They still sounds like they're a little behind. But yeah, AWS are still to the point where they haven't released anything. But watch the space for the next few months. They might get something out pretty soon. But yeah, definitely in terms of who's ahead, OpenAI and Microsoft are quite far ahead with this, and it makes sense. Microsoft put a whole heap of funding into OpenAI. So, alright, so that's how you create the kernel. Okay. I'm going to do a void ask query. So what do we have options here? I know I'm jumping ahead a little. Sure, it's going to tell me here what I need to do. So I can create a new context. I can do a config. Create a semantic function, get a service, import a semantic skill from a directory, import a skill, log memory. Okay, so let's continue on with the documentation, see what this does. So configuring the kernel. So that's the first thing we need to do then, is to configure the kernel, which makes sense. We should actually do that up here. We go kernel.config. So this is where we can start adding in our different LLMs. So it looks like at the moment we can add the OpenAI, that gets so confusing at the moment. I kind of wish they changed their name a little bit. The difference between OpenAI and OpenAPI. But try and say it right. So OpenAI. So this example is in C#, but the other one I know that working at the moment is Python. And I'm assuming they will be porting it over to other things as well. Not sure at this stage, but yeah, the main one at the moment is C#, but Python is available. So cool. What are we doing? So config. All right, let's add. Okay, I think I want the chat completion service. And what's it going to ask for here? Now this will be interesting to see if I can use the credentials that I've been using, or if it's going to make me use a token. And also we'll have token credentials. Okay, that's fine. So what we'll do here is we'll bring in the Azure.identity library. Let's give a little bit of formatting. Cool to. Alright, so we pull in our default Azure credential, and that gives us an identity here. Now, so here we need the deployment name, the endpoint, and then the credential. Also as text completion, and then there's a few here which are already kind of null, like set as null. So I think the required ones are the string deployment name, string endpoint, and the token credentials. So if I can just check. So I've got my endpoint here. So I can grab that out of config. How am I setting that up? So I'm providing that to the bot, so I can provide that to the interface. So if we say string endpoint here, then we can provide that endpoint there. Deployment name, did we have that in here? No? Or was I still hard coding? Still hard coding that at the moment. So I will pull that out at the moment, but we should turn that into a parameter. That's fine. So that's the endpoint. Now we don't have an API key, but we have the credentials. So we should be able to put identity in here. Yep, cool. That seems like that is all good. Okay. Alright, so that should be the config there that we need. Is there anything else that we need to be adding? Cool that it can do image generation services as well. So that's kind of cool. So I think that'll do us for now, but we will investigate the other ones later. Alright, cool. So that's configuring the kernel there. Alright. What's the next step here? Planner. So call this approach a goal-oriented AI. So what are we doing with the goal here? We're creating a goal for the AI to try and accomplish. So the plan will operate within the skills it has available. Okay, so the plan will operate based off. So it has access to a predefined library of pre-made skills or a dynamically defined set of skills, able to fulfill the ask with confidence. In addition, the planner calls upon memories to best situate the ask context and connectors to call APIs to leverage other external capabilities. Okay, cool. So what is a skill? How do we do this? Okay. So function, so an LLM AI prompt is also called a semantic function, and then native communicator is called a native function. Okay. Skill is a container in which functions live. Semantic skill as a directory of folders that contain multiple directories of semantic functions. Okay, cool. Each directory will have an SK prompt file and a config file. So we've got to set up a kind of directory source for this. Okay. So it's telling you to find skills in the GitHub repos. Core skills. These skills are available at any time to the kernel and embody a few basic skills. So I might need to go and have a look at them. There's some examples of skills there too. Alright, so we might need to go to GitHub. Not quite. I want it. Let's see, build our skills, but I want to see how they're defining them first. Do I have? Let's go to the GitHub repo. So yeah, we can see Python in here at the GitHub repo. So let's go here. Let's look at the source code. There was skills. Okay. So the skills a whole separate project. Okay. Key vault skill, that's useful. Okay. There is a lot here. Documents. I think there was a skill there for web. So we might dive deeper into this. Let's have a look quickly what memories are. So access memory space into the kernel in one of three ways. So we have the conventional key pairs, so just would you like environment variable in your shell. So it's conventional lookup. Conventional local storage, save information to a file. It can be retrieved with its file name. We have a lot of information stored in key pairs. Best off keeping it on disk, makes sense. And then semantic memory search. So where we represent the text information as a long vector of numbers known as embedding, and lets you execute a semantic search that compares meaning to meaning for your query. Cool. I think I have another idea for a way of doing this kind of search, but we'll leave that for the moment. So this is all about embeddings. And then connectors. So MS Graph Connector Kit lets you set up things with emails, things like that. Sorry, just got a text message. All good. So that's, and then more out of the box connectors. Do a search query with Bing, read an XML streams of Word docs, and use SQLite as a database. Okay, cool. So I don't want to run any sample apps, but let's have a look at building an AI skill. Alright, so okay, so we're trying to, we've got an ask, we need to give it to the planets, decompose in steps, and to make the planet work reliably, use the most advanced model available, which is for us GPT 3.5. Okay, so writing prompts. So that's prompt, and that's the return from the model. Okay, cool. So here's another prompt. And then the summary there. Okay. So and then this would be, as a function, we can store the prompt in a directory. And here's the prompt. Okay, so So let's create a new folder and let's think of the first prompt. So I'm going to call the first prompt chat respond, and I haven't spelled it right, so let's spell it right. Chat respond. Okay, so then I need to make a new file which is called chat respond.txt, and then we want to put in here the prompt. So let's go grab the prompt that we've been using for this chatbot. So just this one here. So that's fine. We'll go stick that in here. That's fine. Right. So we've got the prompt that we've been using in a directory called chat respond. Alright. Needs to be in another. So if we go folder and we say Twitch bot skill, and then we put chat respond into a Twitch bot skill. Yep, move that around, that's fine. Alrighty. So we can do one or two things calling the functions. So okay, well, that's interesting. So if we call this will respond, but there's not providing anything extra. It's just gonna give that prompt. Okay, so all right, let's do that. So we've got your Twitch bot connected to you. Please answer the following question nicely, and then we can put in here is input. And we'll save that. Okay. Let's go with. So that's going to put our input into the prompt. Okay, so cool. So that's fine. Now we're going to need. Did we have a config? No, I'm gonna have to look that up, but it looks like it needs a config.json file as well. That's right, we'll figure out how that JSON file works in a minute. Okay. So now we have the chat respond inside the skill. We don't have a JSON file just yet. So we can customize things with more than one input. That's fine. Okay, so maybe we want to make the instead of input, put it as chat message. That's okay, it's cool. So we're putting that chat message there. Alright, so we've already configured our kernel, so that's great. Okay, so now we come back into the interface here, and we've got our ask here. Except we want to add the skill. So let's add the skill in here. Actually, we don't want to do that there. That's right. we'll put the skill in here. All right. So we will want to say Twitch. Twitch bot skill is equal to kernel.get import skill from directory, and then I think that already completed. So that's the directory, and we wanted to import a specific skill, which is chat respond. Okay, cool. All right. So importing those skills, cool. That'll be it's interesting, because I think what you might be able to do here is set this maybe in configuration and have it loop over a configuration and load skills dynamically, which would be kind of cool. So in that way you can kind of update your bot or your application as you're going by adding more skills to its use. So, alright. So now what we do is we'll do context, new context variables. No, it doesn't. No, we're missing some using. Alright. Microsoft. The kernel, and then we want kernel extensions. No. What do we want here? Orchestration. Okay, orchestration gives us that. I'm not sure this kernel extension, but we'll find out. Okay, so then we say context.add, and we're going to call chat message, and this will be the user query. It's not add, it's set. Alright, set. Alright. And that chat message is then going to be in here, so that'll do a replacement in here. Alright, and then we will say response is equal to await. Thank you for auto updating that for me, Copilot. And run async. And then we want context and the TwitchBot skill, and we want that skill to be chat respond. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Okay, so I actually need another directory here. So we'll call this one so app skills. Inside that we'll place all this thing. Okay. So actually what here is app skills, and this one is the TwitchBot skill. And then from the TwitchBot skill, then we get the chat respond function. Okay. And then do string here, return response. And what is response? SK context response, but I want it to be a string result. So printing the processed input. Is that gonna work here? Or is there something else I'm printing here? I'm guessing that to me makes sense is what we're returning. And you're complaining because we need task type of string. So returning from an async. Cool. Alright. So that should be okay. Let's go to the bot. And what we want to do here. Alright. So we don't want to set up the AI chat. We still want to get those there, so that's fine. Now that's on the return. Right, we won't do that at the moment, that's alright. Just comment those out for the moment. It's fine. So on message received, we're going to come up here. Just going to put in a private read only. Chat interface. That's fine. Chat interface. It's a new interface. It's all good. And then on message received. So log the message to our Redis instance, which I will need to make sure is running. And here we're going to just ask what are we doing here? So we are just going to send through just the message. We're not going to send through all the messages at the moment. Get a response. Okay. And then we're going to want to send the message back. Because we're not doing any kind of a wait event handling on this. Now it's complaining. Do the await here. It's going to complain because it's not private async void. Okay. That should do that, that should do that. Alrighty. Okay, now remembering how do I get the Twitch bot to run? The bot needs to connect to Twitch and it'll need a token to do that. Let's get all that stuff there, that's fine. I need to write the instruction how I'm doing the connection is the channel. So it's obviously using a token to do that. connect. How am I doing that again? What channel name? I think this happens behind the scenes if I'm correct. Alright, give me a sec. I'm just going to duck this off to the side for a minute. Just because I'm obviously having to do some credentially type stuff. So let's see if I can remember how I was doing the credentials. Okay, so I'm just checking back through my chat logs. Okay, that's how I set that. Alright, so let's go and get my token. Okay, so just going and getting my token now. Telling it that I'm not a robot, at least I don't pretend to be at the moment. Okay, I think this is the token I need. We'll just go and set this token up. Didn't like that for some reason. Okay. Alright, so let's bring this back over. That should have set the token up. So if I do a .NET build, let's see where we're going. Okay, so we're building. We do a .NET run. Okay, and let's have a look. Nope, we have an error. But we have an error because the Redis cache is not started. So I'm starting up the Redis cache locally. And are we running? Alright, should be running. Let's try that again. Nope, did not like something. Didn't like something about 922. Should be getting those connection string should be fine. So was this Twitch didn't like something on line 14. Credentials. Didn't like something about the token. Okay, cool. Let's try a different token. That's right. All this will go up on the GitHub repo once I get through this. But at the moment, we're just getting the bot back running. And I'll explain what we're doing with the semantic kernel when we actually get it running, and I'll be able to kind of step through. But at the moment, I'm just remembering how to get the correct token. Let's try that again. For some reason my environmental variable is deciding to be super annoying tonight and doesn't actually want to work. It's always the funny games when we're playing with tokens. Just can't show it on stream, so I want to leak the token. That should be good. Still doesn't like it. Alright. Yeah, the Semantic Kernel docs, hopefully they're good. I mean, this is my first time reading through them. Usually the docs are pretty good, but this is kind of what I wanted to do this test, was to see if the docs are currently reflecting what's there or if they're not keeping up with what's going on, because sometimes that can happen. At the moment, my token for the Twitch bot does not want to work, which is really annoying. Also make sure I do my Azure login too while I'm doing this. Let's go do a second credential for make sure I get my Azure login, just make sure that isn't the issue, isn't that I haven't logged in to Azure correctly. The wrong authenticator, use that authenticator, cool. Alright, so that's that there. Nope, still doesn't like it. Okay, I think I'll have to regenerate my tokens because it has decided it doesn't like me anymore. Let's regenerate these tokens. So one day I want to actually do a video on how to do all this token stuff so I can show it, so that I can kind of reset the tokens afterwards. Okay. Let's try that token. No, it still did not like it. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's super annoying. I wish there was a way that they made this a little more straightforward on how to generate the token. Okay, apparently they changed something from May 1st. Okay, so something funny is happening here. I'm gonna go log into the dev side of Twitch and try and figure out what is going on, because something funny is happening here. Alright, so I need to change some things. Yeah, I need to find a better way to overall do this stuff. Okay. Okay, it didn't work the way I wanted it to work, which was kind of annoying. Alright. Just try to redirect me somewhere else. Okay, this thing should be fine. Okay, so my access token should be that now. Nope, still does not like it. Ooh, okay. Doop. Okay, I think I know what's going on here. Let me just try. I think something funny's happening. There we go. There we go. I think that's working now. We got there. There we go. The bot is in the chat. Cool. That took a bit of effort. But we got there in the end. So, alrighty. So the bot is in the chat. So let's see if I can send it a message. Alright, and we hit a whole heap of exceptions. Cool. So goodbye bot. What happened there? So received and said the given key chat respond was not present in the dictionary. Okay. Okay. So what I've got, chat respond there. Did I do that setup wrong? So if my app source control, so if I'm, which we call Twitch GPT there, we've got our app skills directory, and then we've got our TwitchBot skill, and under that we've got our chat respond skill or function. And then if we look at the interface, yes, bad bot. Bot just decided not to work at all. The skill here didn't get pulled in. Have I typoed something? No, app skills, TwitchBot skill, and then we've set the context to be chat message is equal to the user query. And then we've said TwitchBot skill specific to the function of chat respond. Okay. Which seems to be how it should be structured. Am I missing something? Yeah, so now this is how to put in semantic function. What was the error it gave us? It gave us a given key chat respond was not part of the dictionary. Not present in the dictionary. Okay. Let's go have a look through some examples and see how they've done it. Samples.net. So that's the kernel builder. Skill collection. don't think that's what we want. GitHub skills. So again, they're kind of putting these into code here, not into the directory structure that I can see. It doesn't help when we're trying to work out what's going on, and it doesn't look like the samples follow the description of what's happening here. This one maybe does. Okay. Semantic kernel syntax examples. Alright, let's do a skill here. This text skill. And their skills aren't looking like the ones in the docs. So let's go back. So this is how to create a semantic function within the application itself. I wonder what's happening here is that we're not copying the folders across because they're not part of the application. If we go here, so let's just clear. I'll do a build. So this will build it out to debug.7 twitch.dll. But what it won't do here is it won't have included those directories of the skills. So what I actually have to do is add them in to item grouping here. How do I copy, how do I include a folder and all? How do I include content? Okay, we do it like that. So we don't do an item group. Visual Studio, that doesn't help me. As we do an item group, I say content, let's see, include, and then we're going to include app skills. And then we should just do star. And then serve newest. Don't know if this link will do what I want it to do. But we can try. Let's try and see what this link does. Alright, so if we do now .NET, let's do a clean. make sure we're not pulling stuff across, and it says it doesn't like something in here because we haven't closed our item group. Okay. There we go, cleaned. Should be nothing in here, that's fine. I build. Now here's the, that's not what I wanted. Because I want that as well. Okay. We've kept the folder structure, which is good, but we want to include that one as well. So I wonder if we have to do it like this. Clean that. Build. No, I don't think that did what I wanted to do. Just get rid of that. We'll clean. I'm going to change this to copy always. Okay, and it has not copied at this time. Okay. What if I just include that? No. Okay, let's try without the link. And rebuild. No, we're still getting the directory. Maybe go back to preserve newest. Alright, that would still work. There we go. Alright, let's do another run and see if that was the issue. There we go. Back. And crashed it. And why did we crash this time? Still saying it's not present in the dictionary. Why is it not present? Import skills from directory. Move up skills. Yep. App skills, TwitchBot skill, chat respond. No misspellings on any of this. Yeah, that's weird. Oh, maybe what we need to do Maybe we need to try it this other way, which doesn't require using the folder structure here. Let's check I haven't accidentally missed something in the config. No. No. Okay. Alright. Let's see if we can build this then as a semantic function within inside this text. Alright. So what we want to do is then we'll make a void call it that. String prompt, and I'll go get this from this here. Alright. It doesn't like that because I put a new line in there. Plain because of that, that's alright. Alright, so that's there. Put space in there. Okay. So that gives us the prompt. And then we say prompt config equals new prompt template config. Need that description. Yeah, we call that. Let's say completion. Max. Yeah, let's just use the values it's given us here. Equals 0.5. Cool. So that's the prompt. And we say template. And then so that needs the chat respond prompt. Here's the prompt config. And then the kernel, okay. And then let's use semantic function config. This will be for the prompt config, the prompt template. Okay. And get chat respond function. And what's the function is, okay, so we'll call the function which skill chat respond and then the function config. And it's not a new semantic function. We want to say kernel.register semantic function. Okay, so that's the skill name and then the function name. So the skill's name is Twitch skill, the function is chat respond, and then that's the function config. Alright. Okay, so I'm just going to have this. What is this? This is a full definition. Okay, so it's that. Can we? Okay. Right, so return that. And we're going to have a private so this way we can only create this as part of the actual initialization of the object, so it can't be rebuilt later. So nothing can be injected in to do that, that's fine. Alright. So what we should be able to do now is just say run async. And then give it the user query, and then the function. Doesn't like that actually. Just complaining. It's not breaking it, but it says it doesn't like that it could be a null, so that's alright. We'll just say I'll throw an exception. That's fine, and then that gets rid of that error. Cool. Alright. It didn't like something. Well, it didn't like that I misspelled the .NET build. All good. Alright, rerunning, we're connecting, and the bot is back. Cool. So let's bot. Oh, it didn't crash. Okay, we got a response. So let's ask, well, if anyone's connected, they can feel free to ask it a question. So it seems to be functional again, at least within this specific semantic skill. Not sure why it responded to hi bot with they're happy to help, but sure. So let's ask a question. That's interesting. That's the same response. Let's ask it. Yeah, okay, something's funny being it's not sending the correct thing through. Okay. Have I messed up? Okay, so goodbye bot. No, I think it's because I didn't use input. I wish you had told me what's wrong with my code. Let's try to change this to input because I'm not specifying it anywhere what it is. So go. Stop typing that wrong. Alright. Alright, bot's back. Let's give that another try and see if this time it will actually respond with something nice rather than just the same message over and over again. I might need to change the prompt up here to see if there's a way, like maybe in the way it has this summarized where it has like the begin text, end text. I might need to do kind of begin question, end question type thing. So let's see if someone wants to try ask it a question again. Let's see what it does. Wondering also the temperature. The temperature is good. Alright, so we've got question came in. And there we go. So we've got a largest population country by population is China, and interesting that it responded with going opinions or feelings about the hottest city in the world. I would have thought it would be more of a factual thing, but it's given the factual response as well. Yep, now they're definitely showing it's and this is actually that's a good one we can test. We can try and connect to some kind of data source that would give us an up-to-date information on population sizes, so it would be able to give more information. So because the data is still limited, I think to 2021 I think was when the data was like the training data was done. Yep, so it won't remember the previous question you asked, so you've corrected it, but it doesn't remember the correction. But at least it's consistent in its answer. Alrighty, cool. Alright, so that's functioning. Cool. Now the question is, how can I chaining functions? So what we want to do now is see, can we have multiple functions and it's kind of work out what. Okay, so it looks like this has multiple functions where it's no, it's stubborn. According to its data, it does not know the information you're giving it. Alright. Okay. So that's just chaining through different functions with the same input. So we don't really want to chain through our functions here. And we're configuring functions. No, that's providing the configuration settings here. Oh, there you go. Giving you interesting. Ooh, here we go. Here's some core skills we can play with. Time skill, text skill, file I/O skill, HTTP skill, APIs, and a planner skill. Okay. So what I'm still not sure about here is I have the message come in and I need to determine which skill should be used to answer the question. So, which I think this will be initialize laws something to read further, but not something that's going to be going in here. Well, apparently it's decided that request is beyond the maximum amount of characters that it can send back to Twitch. So I don't have a function at the moment to try and summarize. I guess again that could be that could be a chaining function. Yeah, let's try and build that as a chaining function. So how would I set that up? So I'd set up another function creation here. So I'll just take this one. Apparently still it couldn't do it in less than 400 characters. Create response summary function. Let's see if to okay, what we'll do here is we will set, I think that's the one I want, so I can do multi-line. Multi-line here, and we'll do multi-line, and then we'll say, how did I do that one where I did the start and the end? Start text. Just going to go back and check how they did it with the other one. They had a bit of a pattern there, and I want to try that. So it's begin text. That's the input, and then end text. Alright, so that does that. I have no idea if these answers are factual or not, but these are the answers it's giving. Alright, so begin text, end text, and then this is a response prompt. It's fine. Response, and we don't call it chat response, call it response summary. Okay, so it's response summary. That's fine. So again, we will come up here and we'll say Eurovision is a technicality. I don't think it knows about the technicalities. Or maybe it does. I don't know. Alright, so we do the response summary function there, and then create the response summary function. Now, when we come to calling a chain, we would then do run async, and then we would chain it here. And we would again check to make sure that that's not null. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to find a good question that maybe isn't the PowerShell question to ask for a long answer. See if it'll attempt to do this. Maybe. See if that's more than 500. Yes, okay, cool. That one's more than 500. So, what we're going to do is we're going to stop the bot for the moment. So, goodbye, bot. I'm going to rebuild. I'm going to rerun. Back. And I'm going to ask the same question again. This time, see if it can summarize the answer for me. Okay. So it's thinking about it. Here we go. So that was less than 500 characters. Cool. Alrighty. So that's chained the responses. So we've had two skills or two functions activate. We've had our first function which generates response, and then the second function which has done a summarization to ensure that it's less than 500 characters as per the Twitch requirement. Cool. Alright. So, let's see, what should we do next? So these are native functions. So this would just be running code. Okay, so how then do I create a plan? How do I get it to... I've got something here where I want to create a plan where it will take the question, determine what the question is asking about, and then ask two different model or two different skills. So, how do I make a plan? That's context. So that's registering some memory. Okay. So if we go back to the overview, I think, where we were talking about, so we've got a kernel here, but we haven't got a planner. So planner has access to either a predefined library or pre-made skills and all the dynamically defined skills. Okay, so how do I then create the planner? Is that something in here? Planning, maybe? Plan is used to create trees. I have again no idea if that's so. Oh, plan builder. And we don't want that. So we'll just do the plan. Don't think it's just calling the kernel. So what's the goal? Steps, function. No, I don't think that's quite what I want. Let's see if there's anything in here. So there's a few examples in here, so let's see if I can. So what's the sequential planner doing here? So we've got function, create and execute plan. There's this. So it gets to the skills path, it imports some skills to the kernel, then makes a new sequential planner. And then it's asking, and then it's giving a plan, which is text. Okay, so maybe that's what we need to do. Alright, so we want a sequential planner. Yeah, so this is using 3.5 Turbo, which I think was the latest of the 3.5 models. But again, it will depend. I don't know what ChatGPT 4 will answer. That'd be an interesting one. See if that differs as well. Alrighty. So we want to create a plan. So we'll come in here and we will say planner equal to new, and if we want a sequential planner from the kernel. So does the kernel, that wants to do an import. can I import based off can I do that? I wonder if that will work. But it's getting a skill. No, again, I don't. So it's import skills from directory, but we couldn't get that to work. Do I need to register it maybe? Is that what we're going to need to do? Register semantic function. Function name is chat respond. What's config? I don't think that's what I want. No, I have registered, so I just so it's registered into internal skill collection, so it should actually already be part of it. Okay, so they should already be there. So that's fine. Again, we don't know why then I'm calling them there, but we'll figure that out. So we've got a planner there, and then we say wait, create plan. Okay, how's it gonna work though? Could try and go with this. So we say so create plan, which is saying this is a chat message from a user. Okay, so I wonder what that's gonna do actually. We'll just comment these ones out. Just comment all that out. And I want to see, so if we do and then plan dot to string. Currently plan does not have a to plan string. Unless I'm missing something. Let's go back up. the sequential planner. Okay. It's the kernel. Create plan, and then it says plan to plan string. Oh, let's just do a to string. See what happens. That out, and we want to return a plan. No, a kernel dot run async plan, and we need wait. No. To that then, and then we return response dot result. Okay. So then the Semantic kernel builds on 4 core ideas in Damn, and this has 5 points. Yeah, it's not. I'm gonna have to wrap my head around what it's doing. I might have to try and see if I get someone to take me through what this is all doing. Okay. So, creating a sequential planner for the kernel, we're asking it to create a plan. We're giving it this message which says, this is a chat message from a user. The user query, please respond nicely and with under 500 characters. We're asking it to print out what plan it creates and then to run that. So this will be, so have we got a description? We've got a chat respond prompt, and then we have a summarize response. So it's interesting to see if it'll pick this up. Alright, so the bot's going away for a sec. I'm going to rebuild. And we run. Okay, so it might be a bit slower now because I'm getting it to do a few more things. We'll see. It is interesting that I have noticed that it is slower than when we first did this, just by going directly to the Azure OpenAI service. So obviously it's wrapping a lot of things around it. Alright, I'll just take a drink. Okay. Alright, so we sent that through, and that's not useful. Okay, chatbot expresses gratitude for learning about polymorphism. That's a very weird question. But one of the important differences, so Azure and AWS both offer cloud. Interesting that my question did not get the response I expected, but the Azure AWS one did. Interesting. I would have liked to have seen what the plan. But it's also interesting that it does refer to itself as chatbot. Yeah, I want to see what the plan did there. So let me just break out of this again. We'll see if we can get more detail out of what the plan here is doing. Okay. Do we have a... Okay, let's do that. So let's put in... podcast about Follow by Flash called Silverlight. Wasn't Silverlight also like a really short-lived programming? No, it wasn't a language. It was like Flash, but well, I guess that's the joke, isn't it? It was like Flash, but it was short-lived. Okay, it has. Alright. Apparently I really cannot type. Okay, cool. So plan has steps, alright. And then we'll do for each step in steps. Now, what do you want? A description? Maybe. Let's see if that works. Let's see if this gives us some indication to what it's actually doing. Alright. Let's ask it. Let's see what the bot thinks. Let's see if it'll give us any more. Plan has 2 spare. Okay. So it has gone through. Not sure where it's getting this the bot is grateful thing. And maybe because in here, in this prompt here, so maybe you have to make the chat response prompt a little. Yeah, I don't know why the bot's so grateful. A little concerning. But yeah, no, so. Well, let's try maybe a more generic question. Let's see what it says to this. So. Okay, it's answered that a bit more. Interestingly, I want to ask it a technical question to see if it. see if that gives it anything. Okay, it's responding fine now. Yeah, that was really weird. I have to drill into that one maybe a bit. Yeah, it could be the prompt for the chat respond prompt. So what? Just trying to think. What we could do is we could set up like an API call for weather. I'm sure there's a public API somewhere we can hit which will tell us what the weather is. Set up a skill that calls for what the current weather is. And then we should be able to pass it a question asking what the current weather is, and it should use all three skills. It should say, okay, I'm doing a chat response, I need to get the weather, and then do a summary. And it'll be interesting to see if that's how this planning is working, where it's determining from the question and the descriptions of each of the skills and what it needs to do. I think app service is similar to ECS. Well, actually, that's the bot. Ask the bot, because I actually don't know. I'm not well versed in AWS, so I'm not sure what ECS is. Okay, container orchestration service runs managing Docker on a cluster of EC2 instances will make scaling. So app service, you don't have a VM orchestration underneath, or at least not that you see. So you're not dealing with the instances underneath that particular pane of glass. All you see in an app service is your app service, your SKU, which kind of governs how much resources are available to your app, and any kind of replication where if you need to scale them up or down. But you don't have, like, you wouldn't see the VMs underneath, where this is talking about having a cluster of EC2 instances. And you can, with app service, you can run containers or you can run native code. You don't have to run it in containers. Where it seems ECS might be more of a specific container runtime, which would be similar to in Azure. There's Azure container instances, or they're now replacing it with Azure container apps, which is much more focused on purely that container experience. Azure Container Apps is also kind of a lightweight version of Kubernetes. So it's kind of, you want to do Kubernetes, but you don't want to manage all of Kubernetes. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I haven't played with either EC2, so with ECS or Fargate, but cool. It's not good to know that. Yeah, it's cool. So I think Azure App Service, you could run JavaScript, Node, Python, and .NET. Kind of the languages that you can run natively, or you select the runtime. Like, under the hood, I'm pretty sure it's just Docker and a container. Like underneath all of the the actual screens that you get. But you don't see that in Azure, and that's what Azure does a lot. Is it kind of abstracts away a lot of stuff, so you don't have to do any configuration or anything of that stuff, and you can just configure the top level of what you need and rely on it to handle everything underneath, including with when you use Terraform. You use Terraform to define the top level, so you'd say Terraform, make me an app service plan and make me an app service, and connect the two together and go off and run my app. If you're to see how app service works, you can jump on my YouTube which I will just quickly grab for you because it has some of my other streams on it, which have to do with actually running those. How do you set up app service and things like that? So, I need to do some more kind of smaller videos which give more detailed explanations. Let me link this back into chat. So if you want to watch any of the previous streams, this YouTube channel here is where I'm uploading them. So yeah, there's a bit more of a kind of basic DevOps, build an app, deploy it to Azure app service. So if you've got any questions about that stuff, that should be in there. But yeah, I think I need to do some more small content rather than big 3-hour chunks. Maybe like 20-minute videos on how to do some basic stuff. Cool. Alright, what do we want to do here? I know what we should do. Let's create a new function. It's this one here. I can't be typing all of that. Let's go create a new one. I'm going to call this function create tell joke function. So we're going to get a function, make a function that tells jokes. So these will, I'm expecting these to be pretty terrible, but there you go. And then string tell joke prompt. And I don't want to get banned off Twitch, so we're going to go with a family-friendly joke. Don't want to get in trouble anywhere, and I want to keep this stream pretty generally PG if we can. So, alright. And then we want to do the prompt config, which we'll just copy from here. And we'll say description is joke telling function. So this is our joke telling function. And then we just need to create the prompt template and the function template. So let's grab these two. Oh, and that's jumped up here. Cool. And the response will be the tell joke. And then I don't think we need to actually. This will be a test. Do we need to be returning that anyway, since we're just registering this to the kernel? So I don't think we need to actually be doing them here, and all I can do here is create tell joke function, because I'm not going to need, like before we were calling them as part of this, but in this one we're not actually mentioning them at all. We're letting the plan discover them and discover which one to use. Okay, so actually I don't even need that there. I'll just avoid. I'm not returning anything. Okay, cool. Alright, well, good night, bot for a minute. Then we'll rerun the bot. Let's see. if that's coming up. Interesting. It's taking a while to connect to Twitch. There we go. Just being a bit laggy. Cool. Right, so now I'm going to ask you to tell me a joke. And let's see if it actually pulls that new skill in. There we go. So it's got a joke telling function, so let's get that joke telling function first. And the joke is... the joke is I can't understand the context of my statement. I don't know where this random tomato factors come from. Okay, that's new. I'm not sure where it's decided tomatoes come into this. That's an interesting one. All right. Well, again, it doesn't have context. We can't exactly ask it, why did you do that? See if we can be a bit more ambiguous. What's it going to give us if I do that? Oh, that's interesting. It's gone to 5 steps. Okay, I think I'm going to need to rework these prompts a bit to be a bit more kind of skill oriented, where it's doing specific things. It thought my joke was bad and throwing it tomorrow. That seems on brand. Yeah. Let's just see if I can just ask it directly to tell me a joke. Okay, I don't know what is censored there. But don't get yourself banned, please. Yeah, we're getting all sorts of weird results now, aren't we? So, cause we've added in. So it didn't actually go to the joke one either. There, it just went to the summarize and then respond. Wonder if the summarize is causing some issues. Yeah, not sure on that. So yeah, I think we'll need to think about a bit. How do we layer these skills? What do these skills actually mean, and how are they useful? And then what we should also look at is how do we give them some context? Because at the moment we have no memory context in here at all. So these are all pretty simple. Wonder if there's a memory skill here. So that seems to be a way to save some information in. It's in memory. I wonder if there's also a database. I'll have to look through quite a few of these samples here. What's the GitHub ones it has? This could be useful actually, putting these GitHub skills into the bot and essentially linking it to our repositories. Oh, here we go. Topical one. That's interesting. It responds. Let's put it both that one. See you, Nemesis. Have a good weekend. It responded quite clearly and concisely to the question about taking over the world, but our other questions it doesn't answer very well. That's right, Mia. Alright, let's try another question to it. I wonder if we'll really try and confuse it. Alright, have a good weekend, Mia. The chatbot cannot taste, but it appreciates the description of blue's taste. I didn't give you a description, but okay. Yeah, it's certainly getting confused at some point. Let's ask another factual question. What does it think about HAL 9000? Yeah, it just seems to not like my questions. It's answering everyone else fine. Yeah, it doesn't like my questions. It seems to be fine talking to everyone else. Yeah, I think this is definitely just I need to refine these. Alrighty. I think I'm just going to take a quick break. After the break, what we might have a look at doing is seeing if we can plop some memory into this to see if we can get it to remember what the conversation it's having is. Very diplomatic answer there. I don't think it likes me. I think it's got a thing for me. But yeah, I want to see if we can remember what's going on and reference that. Cool. Alright, so I will be back shortly. I'm just going to kill the bot in case someone comes in and tries to really wreck it by while we're gone and I can't respond. So the bot's just going away for the moment. And I will be back shortly. Alright, and we're back. Cool, so let's see. I was thinking of doing some databasing, but actually what I might do is have a look at just trying to refine these prompts a little bit. So let's go into that a bit, because I think I'm only really going to be streaming for another half hour. I don't want to dive into something too heavy at the moment. So let's try and refine these prompts. So the chat response, let's just bring in here, do that, and we'll say respond to the following question. Alright, so we'll do, again, we're still using the kind of words to say followed nicely rather than just respond to the question. Just again to try and make it so that we're less likely to get some kind of inappropriate answer. And then in the description, we will have response. Just going to call it question response. In the summarize, we're going to say answer to, so to say summarize answer to less than 500 characters. That's what the description of this one is doing. Well, actually, give a description of it. What does this prompt do? It answers questions from users. Summarize answer to less than 500 characters. And we'll do here is, let's see, so we'll say great plan Let's actually just see if we can pass directly the message. See if that works. So we're playing directly off the message. And then this is telling us what steps it's going to use still, which is fine. And we're just going to change that function there. Okay. Actually, and we just know from there we don't need to have these in here, which is good. So it's less we can do there. So let's just clean that up. And then we don't need to give a response here. Let's return that there. We don't need to return, and we don't need to save that. Alright. Let's give it a build. And give it a run. Okay. Let's see what it's doing here. What should we ask now? See if it'll respond to a simple question. Okay, I'm not sure why it's doing the answer thing twice here. That's interesting. It did the answer thing twice. So it did the step answer questions from users. It did the summarize the answer. Not really what I wanted to do. Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if I can get it to query itself. I know what we'll do. I'll make a new function. And create a verification function. So okay, and so we want to verify that the, so we'll do the aren't you wonder how does that work? Because I'm giving it that, but it doesn't know what to pass it to. Wonder if there's a thing in the prompt configuration. I don't know, a validation. In fact, input configuration. Okay, well, maybe that'll do it. just config. Okay, so yes, but we want input. Input and inputs. No, does not. So input config. Okay, so maybe we need to make a new configuration. Say var input config equals new. Now, is this something that I can just do a reference to? No. How do I, let's see if there's an example in here. That's just the event as input. Template language. No, not this one. Just making a summary. This is going up. Yeah, I'm gonna have to work out how that file system one works. Import skill. There's another using in here that I'm missing. Template skill. Skill definition, maybe? No. That's in prompt template complete. No? That's the config. That's not what I want. Let me say prompt. That's going to tell us semantic functions prompt template config. Okay, so let's do semantic functions ones. No, won't let us go any further in that one. Okay. Okay, so what's okay, I don't know what the elements of this are. No, we're not seeing anything. Okay, well, how about we pull this out of here and we say do that, and what does this let us do? Here we go. So parameters. Input parameter. Right. Well, what does the input parameter look like? Okay, so we'll call this one, just call it input parameter. Description is equal to question to be answered. Yep. Question. Well, there shouldn't ever be nothing to find, so cool. And we should put this as question. Alright, so and then we add input param. Okay, cool. So let's do another one. And so param. Okay. Alright, so that should then add both of those, and then we should be able to put input is there. So then it should come and do, so that's the prompt. And that's the new prompt template. And we should just be able to do the register. No, we just need, oh, sorry, we need the function config. Which contains both of those. Okay, cool. Alrighty. So then we register the function. Let me come in here. Where's our base? So we've got our question there. I wonder if it's going to work. Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. See what this does. Alright, so I asked the same question. Let's see what it comes back with this plan. Now it's still doing the answer question, summarizing the answer question again. Yeah, thanks for sharing, because it's kind of sending the answers back again. Alright, let's just pop that down. What I'm going to do is in plan here, going to put no, I don't want to do that. That's correct. We'll do it up here. Pain, isn't it? So don't want to do that. How do I get it to do the thing I want to do? Oh, sorry, Liz, the bot's already disappeared. Yeah, a bit too quick on that. Do that one. Is it the dash I want? What do I want? I don't think it's doing what I wanted to do. This. Right, giving a bit more of a succinct plan here, where please answer the following question, begin questioning question, then summarize your answer in less than 500 characters, and verify the answer has addressed the question. Okay. Type it correctly. Okay. For the connection here. Apparently improperly formatted authentication. That's interesting. Don't know what happened there. change anything with the Twitch connection. Let's just stop and rerun that one. There we go. Well, Liz, if you're still there, you can re-ask your question and see what happens. I think this might have run off to do something else. Let's oh no, there we go. There's Liz asking a question. Let's see what it does. Okay. So, answer the question from the user, summarize, answer the question, answer the question. That's not... Yeah, why is it doing that? It seems to be trying to fill out the steps, but that's not what we're asking it to do. Very odd that it's also not doing the validation that I've asked it, or verification. Hasn't used the verification once. You got to use the tag to talk to the bot. That's alright. Let's see if this one where I've asked it. No. It is. Just keeps going back and using the answer question. So it's like feeding the question into itself several times. Is not useful. Let's see if it'll tell a joke. Yeah, again, it's saying, okay, tell a joke, summarize it, but then feed it back into yourself as a question. Doesn't seem to be... Seems to want to keep doing this one again and again. Okay, I think what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to turn it off. I'm going to remove the part which tells it to answer the question. I wonder if that's being just a bit verbose, like it knows it needs to respond. Alright. Well, let's try the joke again. This time we're not giving it that the respond task. All right. Okay, I mean, I guess. Liz, if you're around, you wanna hit it with that train question again? See if it does anything this time. So it did the family row, then it's summarized, but then it created 3 empty steps. For some reason, it decided to tell a joke again. So it needs that kind of thing to say, answer the question. But how do we do it without answering the question and then looping back in itself? Yeah, it seems to be stuck. It only has 2 options. And again, it's also not doing the verification step. It's also telling the exact same joke each time. That's, again, a bit strange. Well, there's some questions to answer here on. Yeah, that's going to keep. Well, that's interesting. There we go. Why did that work? But the others did not. And but also, why is it still doing this step? Alright, let's just try and add in the chat response. I wonder if we can. Actually, I wonder if I can do this. I want to just do this. Yeah, no, it is definitely stuck in a loop, which is unfortunate. I don't want that one, I want that one. Actually, no, I don't need. What am I doing? What am I doing? It doesn't need any of that. It'll do the substitution itself. Let's go and grab this. Yeah, it's really weird that it's answering the math questions, but it can't answer the textual kind of information questions. Okay, so I'm going to put the chat response back in. I'm actually going to take the joke response out just so it doesn't get confused. So bot's going away for a sec. So we'll rerun the bot. See what it does now. Yep, now it's going back to answering itself and then providing itself, and then it didn't provide the Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna have to go back through this and try and figure out what it's doing. I'll go through a few more of these examples and try and work out what that's doing. I also want to work out how to do the skills component here, where it actually we put the skills in folders and work on the prompts. That's interesting. Yeah, no, cool. So we will. Apparently, it didn't like that message because an identical one was set 30 seconds ago. Yeah, it seems to be broken right now, so I'll shut it down. Cool. All right. Well, let's just push where we're up to into our source control. Push that up. Cool. Yeah, so that was interesting. Interesting to see what is there. I can see where this can be used, but I think I need to understand better how it wants to receive information and how the plans work. So I think that'll be the strength, where you can define enough different skills to answer questions. But how we go around doing that's going to be more of the question, and how we do that without getting itself stuck in loops, which is what it did just before, where it couldn't answer any questions. But we will pick this up next time. I might do some playing offline just to try and understand how to do the folder formatting for the skills, because that's going to help us, I think. So yeah, we can kind of do inputs and stuff through the different configs here. Yeah, now we'll get further into that and we'll see if we can get this working. I'd be interested to progress this one. But thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you've had a great evening, and I will catch you hopefully Monday for some DevOps, and we'll see you when the next time we get on for some AI. Alright, good night.